Okay. Now, as we have seen what are the objectives of the subject, now we will move to the main course. That is, we will understand the global scenario of thermal power plant and some Indian context of it. So, in the thermal power plant, we will study about some general layout of modern thermal power plant, what parameters are being considered for site selection, and present status of power generation in the India. Okay, so just uh, observe this graph for a few minutes and tell me if you understand something. Here we have indicated the energy consumption by human being in last almost 200 years. Okay, so here you can see on one axis we are having a on one axis we are having the time. Okay, on the other axis we are having the energy consumption in terawatt hours. Okay, you understand gigawatt hours, so it's 1,000 times that. Okay, so you can easily differentiate this time series in three parts: pre 1900 and post 1900. In the post 1900 also, you can see our power consumption at the 1950. So here you can see in the previous time, the energy consumption by human being was significantly less compared to what we consume today. Okay, so overall power consumption is almost crossing 140,000 terawatt hours in recent time. All right, and you can see the steep rise, continuous rise in recent time, right? So this is what explains our industrial revolution. Okay, our change in our lifestyle where we are more dependent on electricity. Most of the tasks are being performed by electric equipments which requires energy. Now you just observe one more detail in this graph. Here you can see majority of our energy is coming from the coal. Okay, so initially, if you observe from in this portion what happened, the initial power plants were only based on coal based power plant. Okay, and we were using coal as main source of electricity generation, and it is still growing. You can see there is a constant growth in the usage of coal for electricity generation. However, you can also observe that after the 1950, from near this era, when we invented the automobiles and there was a revolution in the engines where we started using crude oil for transportation. So you can see that there is a constant rise in usage of petroleum in our day-to-day life, and this plot is indicating that since 1950 we are constantly striving and increasing the consumption of crude oil for our energy demand. Okay, the remaining part is taken over by the natural gas. Okay, so its uses, natural gas, CNG and other gases are being used in industry as well as in automobiles also nowadays. Okay, the contribution of renewable energy sources, which we discuss many a times in our classes, you can see the global scenario. It is not even 5% of our global demand. Okay, so in today's age also, we are primarily dependent on coal, crude oil, and natural gas. Okay, here in traditional biofuels, you can understand the tribal communities or some industries which are using the biofuels, particularly wood, for generating the power. Okay. Now remember, this energy demand is not only in terms of electricity, this is global energy demand in terms of everything, including the energy demand for heating, okay, the electric demand, the demand for transportation also. Okay, So the traditional biofuels which we have indicated over here, it is the uses of fallen wood for burning and other purposes. So this is what is indication how we are constantly rising in our energy demand. For many economists, it is also measure of increase in human comfort. So the company's prosperity is many a times being measured in terms of how much energy per capita they are using. All right. So this is the overall picture of energy consumption nowadays, and our discussion in this subject will primarily will be focused towards coal-based thermal power plant. We will discuss about the other plants also, but our discussion will be more concentrated toward coal-based thermal power plant. Now, moving to a next topic, that is electricity generation by source in India. Okay, so here you can see for generation of electricity, we can use coal in thermal power plant. We can use we can have a coal, we can have hydropower, we can have a natural gas, we can have a nuclear power, or we can have a petroleum based power plant also. But you can see the major portion of our electricity demand is made by the coal. Okay, so if you see in India, it is almost 60 to 70 percentage electricity demand is made by coal based thermal power plant. Now before we go further in the discussion, I want you to understand the unit. Here it is terawatt hour. Can any of you explain me what is watt hour, kilowatt hour, or megawatt hour? Just give it a thought and write down the answer if you know. So if you convert the gigawatt hour into terawatt hour, so it is almost 1000 times. Okay, 1 terawatt hour is 1000 gigawatt hour. Okay, now why we are adding hour behind the gigawatt? Okay, so you might have seen your electricity bill. The electricity bill is generally in terms of unit. So your bill may be 100 unit, 200 unit, 300 unit. Anyone know what is that unit means? That unit is indicating a kilowatt hour. Okay, so please remember, this is one of the very important concept that you must know. You know the kilowatt. Okay, what is joule per second? Okay, so suppose you are having equipment which is using 1 kilowatt of energy. Okay, and if that device work for 1 hour, okay, so suppose you are continuously consuming 1 kilowatt power for 1 hour, that will become your 1 kilowatt hour, and that is known as unit power in your bill. So if you have seen the electricity bill, you will see 50 or 57 or 100 units. Okay, that unit is what? That is kilowatt hour. Okay, and what kilowatt hour means? It is equivalent of usage of 1 kilowatt power continuously for 1 hour. If you run equipment of 1 kilowatt rating for 1 hour, then it will consume 1 unit of electricity. That's what it means. And it is very wonderful unit to explain many thermal related concepts or power plant related concepts. Here you can see the coal-based power plants are supplying us 1176 terawatt hour of electricity. Okay, so it is 1 terawatt is equal to 1000 gigawatt. Okay, so it is a huge number that you should understand. Okay. Now, as I have mentioned, it is 65 to 70% of our total demand. Okay, so I hope you are having some bigger picture in your head now. So that is how much energy demand we have, how the energy demand is constantly growing. Okay, what is the situation in India? How we are getting our electricity? We are getting our electricity primarily from the coal. On the second number, we are having the hydropower. Okay, and then natural gas followed by nuclear and oil. But the primary contributor is the coal-based thermal power plant, which is having 65 to 70% contribution. So from this session, what you may conclude? You may conclude that the thermal power plants are the most reliable source of energy till date. Okay, and it will remain for at least 30-40 years. Okay, slowly we are switching to renewables, but you should know that coal-based power plants are going to be there for many years. Majority of thermal power plants use coal as a fuel, and coal-based thermal power plants are highly polluting, and we are searching better alternatives now. You know that global warming, okay? So global warming is primarily due to excessive CO2 in the atmosphere that we add because of our human activity, and primarily transportation and thermal power plants are the main contributors. Okay, so because of the pollution, we are facing some consequences. We are having greenhouse effect. We are having many diseases which were not so common previously. So all the governments are trying to find some better alternative which is less polluting. Okay, so we are trying to get rid of coal-based power plants, but till date we have not found any other reliable alternative. So we can say that we are trying to switch to renewable and less polluting power source like nuclear power plant or wind farms or geothermal or solar photovoltaic etc. However, the contribution of power generation is primarily based on coal, and we do not have any other better alternative which is as reliable as coal-based thermal power plant. All right. So, in the next session, we will discuss about a few more details about the thermal power plants, okay, and the global scenarios. Okay. So again, in the previous session, we are having some glimpse of thermal power plant. What is the scenario of energy consumption? What is the status in India, and how our energy source is distributed based on the fuel we are using. Okay. Now, in this session, we will discuss about power sector in India at a glance. Means how we are managing our electricity resources in India. So we have we are having, you can see, 3,70,348 megawatts of installation till date. So you note this figure, okay? So we are having huge installed capacity of power plants, 3,70,348 megawatts, okay? Now this electricity production is occurring in some thermal power plants or nuclear power plants or other power plants, but they are generally operated either by center, that is the central government, state government, or by the private sector. So if you have heard about NTPC, okay, so that is operated by central government. If you have heard about GSECL, okay, that is a government of Gujarat undertaking, okay, they are having their own power plant, and its installed capacity is around 1,03,322 megawatts. In recent years, post 1990, government has encouraged the private sector to jump in the energy production. Okay, so right now the biggest contributor is the private sector. Okay, so you might have heard about a few names which are having thermal power plants. So you might have heard about Tata Power. Okay, there is one company in Surat also, in Ahmedabad also. The private players which are contributing around 46.9% of total power generation in India. Okay. Initially, if you think about pre-1990s, everything was being produced by center and state government. Okay. Right now, it is primarily by the private players. Just a minute. Okay. So, let's move forward. So if you see, This is based on the operators who is controlling the power plants. Okay. Now, if you take a look at the distribution based on the technology or based on the fuel consumption, you can see in this slide, we are having a distribution of power plants based on whether they are using a coal, lignite, gas or diesel. Okay, so this is total thermal production which is contributing 62.8% of total electricity demand in India. Okay, out of the 62.8, 54% is from the coal. Okay, the rest is for lignite, gas or diesel based thermal power plants. We are having many hydroelectric power plants which are contributing 12% of our electricity demand. Okay, we have put lots of effort towards development of nuclear power plants, but still its contribution is less than 2% in India. So this data is from Central Electric Authority and it is very recent. See, it is last updated in 13th April of 2020. Okay, so total electricity demand of 3,70,348 megawatt, out of which 62% is based on the thermal power plants. So you can understand significance of this subject. Okay, so in near future, in you can say in upcoming next 20 years, the thermal energy is going to be the prime source of energy, right? And then that's how this subject is going to be of significance for mechanical engineers. Okay, now moving to our next session, that is about year-wise growth in electricity demand in India. Okay, so what do you think? How the electricity demand is growing in India? What are the reasons for the growth in electricity demand? Okay, just give a pause to the video and think by yourself. Means, what are the reasons why our electricity demand is constantly growing? Any guesses? You can write down the answers in the chat box. See, in this diagram, we have indicated the electricity demand for last several years, particularly last 10 years. Okay, so here you see our electricity demand has continuously growing year by year, approximately around 6 to 8%. Okay, so if we are consuming 100 units today, in the next year we are going to have demand of 106 or 107 units. So at this rate, the government also needs to ensure that we are having similar additional installations. If you remember the figure, we are having 3,70,000 megawatt unit installation, and just think about addition of 5 to 7% in that. Okay, so every year we need to install 20 to 30 megawatts of new installation in order to meet the demand being generated. Okay, the primary contributors in this growth in energy demand is the improving lifestyle of people. Okay, initially we were having only lights and fans, then we are having refrigerators, then we are having some other electric appliances, we are having air conditioners. Okay, we are having bigger homes. Okay, so based on that, every year you are adding some devices in your home which are increasing the demand. Similarly, you can see the industry is constantly growing. Okay, more and more industries are coming up, more industries, more electricity demand. So these all are contributors. Okay, and you can also notice that what is the aim of government? The aim of government is primarily increase lifestyle of people. They should live a healthy life. They should live prosperous life. With the prosperity, there comes the energy demand. Okay, so increase in energy demand is actually a good sign of progress. Okay, but as an engineer, we must know that if we are having that prosperity, we need to pay somewhere. Okay, we need to install something in order to meet our requirements. Okay, so if you see, the demand is constantly growing from last several years, at average rate of 6 to 7 percentage. Okay, the percentage growth is shown in the another table, another column, year by year. Okay, now before going further, I want to make some clarifications. Here you can see the unit is shown in BU. Okay, because the data source is somewhere from other countries research paper. So can anyone tell me what is the BU? That is British thermal unit. Okay, I have not modified it intentionally because I want you, all of you, to be convenient with other units being used for describing the energy consumption. Here you see British thermal unit is what is its equivalent. So if you take 1 kilowatt hour, that is equivalent to 3412 BTU. Okay, so you can compare it from this. Okay, so it is easy to convert. Okay, but whatever we have said in terms of kilowatt hour can also be written in terms of BU, and you should be able to convert it. Okay, here this unit doesn't matter much because we have described everything in terms of percentage here. Okay, so the main takeaway from this slide is that how year by year our electricity demand is growing. Okay, one more simple implication uh, for this slide is that if you observe the GDP of any country, the GDP generally runs in parallel with the energy demand. Okay, so if your GDP is improving, your electricity demand will also improve. Okay, I am sure that you all understand the GDP. GDP is gross domestic product. It is measure of country's progress. Okay, so how much revenue we are generating through developing products or selling products, that is measured in terms of GDP. If the company, if the country is having more prosperity, then the GDP will be high. If the economic activities are dimmed or slowed down, the GDP will be lower. But I recommend you to use some internet source for identifying how the GDP is being calculated. Okay, what is the trend in India for GDP? Okay, so right now we are having a very significant increase in the GDP. Initially, up to 1985, 1990s, our GDP was nearly constant at 3%. Right now, our GDP prediction is 6 to 7 percentage. Okay, so we are improving year by year in terms of production. Okay, but you can also see the impact. Means GDP goes up, your energy requirement also goes up. Okay, so here you should note that in the last row, which is for 2021, the energy demand is in negative. Can anyone guess why it is so? The description is already given. This data is only up to April 2020, and if it is compared with the previous year, the value will be negative. But if when we will have enough data for the entire year, this value will again be positive, and I guess it will be around 4 to 5%. All right. Now, I want to describe one more term about service economies and industrial economies. You see, India and China are particularly industrial economies where more and more companies, more and more multinationals are coming up, setting up their plant. Okay, our government is describing this data as more employment generation. Okay, it can also be linked with the power, increase in demand of power. All right. So before our government calls any multinational to come and set up any plant, they must ensure that they will be able to supply the electricity to them. Okay. In industrial economies, the demand for energy will be very, very high. Till date, we have understood that our energy demand and our our economy or GDP is directly coupled. But in recent time, what has happened because of globalization, companies are moving beyond their boundaries, beyond the countries. Okay, so developed countries like US, Europe, Germany, all they are having a strategy of removing the industrial uh, companies or manufacturing units to outside their country, because this manufacturing units generate lots of pollution. All right. So what they are doing, their companies are coming to India or China, and they do the production in those countries. Okay. India is one of them where more and more companies are coming. We are having a higher electricity demand, but it does not mean that our GDP is also growing at that rate. So this is a recent development. This is a result of globalization, that uh, our electricity demand is rising, but our GDP is not rising at the same rate. On the other hand, in the developed countries like US and Europe, where no more companies are coming, but they are just service economies. They do the research, right? They plan out the things and install the power plant somewhere else. Okay, so their revenue is significantly high in that process, but those countries are completely pollution free because they are not having any manufacturing units. So this is one of important observation that you should notice from this development. Initially, the GDP and your energy demand was completely linked, but in the recent time, we cannot say this. Okay, in India and China, energy demand is going, but it cannot be concluded that yes, our GDP is also growing at the same rate. Okay. One more thing. See, we have seen few points. What is our demand? How we are developing our electricity? How our demand for electricity is growing? But one more important thing that you all should ask for is that whether we are able to meet all our energy demand. Okay. So that term can be defined in terms of power supply position. Okay. So year by year, what has happened, our electricity generation installation has constantly grown. We have installed more and more number of power plants, but you might have heard a few years back that there was a blackout in some villages, there is no electricity, or in some areas there is a electricity cut. Okay, so there is this scenario was very common. Why this happened? Because we were not producing enough quantity of electricity. When there is a no supply, what government need to do, it has to shut down electricity in some areas. So here in this table, I have indicated the surplus means the extra electricity that what we are producing, and the deficit means less than what we require. Okay, so year by year, if you observe from year 2009-10, we are having deficit of 10%. So our demand was 100, but we were only producing 90 units. You can understand by these words. Okay. So year by year, what our government's approach was to minimize the deficit. Means they want to ensure that we are producing sufficient electricity in order to meet our demand. Okay. So if you see from year 9-10 onwards, from year 9-10 onwards, if you follow this column, okay, it was minus 10%. Okay, slowly we filled the gap, and today the deficit is only 0.5 percentage. Okay, so government has aggressively worked on installing new power plants in order to meet the demand. So this is the column of requirement, what we require. This is what the installed capacity we have. Okay, and the difference is indicated over here. So this is one of the significant improvement that we have seen in last few years, that we are able to produce sufficient electricity to meet our needs. If you think compare the scenario with 2009-10, where we are having a deficit of 10%, in this situation what happens, there was severe cutoff for many villages. Okay, that has been completely eliminated. We are having another table for some peak and average energy demand. So I am not going much in detail about the peak energy demand. Peak energy demand is something which is demand during the daytime. You can observe that our electricity demand changes. Okay, for some time, let us say in the night hours, the electricity demand is very less. Only fan is working. Okay, in the morning we are running with more equipments. In the daytime, from 10 to 5, all the offices are working. Air conditioners are working. Okay, all the household equipments are working. So that results in higher energy demand. So in the day, the energy demand is constantly changing. So peak energy demand is something which is during peak hours when we are having maximum energy demand. So that deficit is expressed over here in little differently. Okay. So this is about energy deficit when we consider the peak hours. This is our energy deficit when we are not considering peak hours. We are considering the average energy demand. And you can see that the peak energy demand was higher than the average energy demand. Okay, right now we are having sufficient installation that we have filled the gap and we are having sufficient energy. Okay, and it is expected that by 2020 to 23 we will having the surplus energy. It means we will be able to sell the energy to other countries also. Okay. Now I am coming to the next point, that is about global primary energy demand. Okay, so this is one of the important explanation what's going on with our fossil fuel based or conventional energy sources and the renewables. What is the trend that you all need to understand? See, today's lecture was intended for understanding the importance of the subject, what is global and what is a local trend in energy generation. All right, so for this reason we have considered some important understandings, important takeaways from various research papers and various web resources. So link for every web resource is given below. Okay, so many a times you have heard about we should not use the conventional or non-renewable energy sources. We should switch to renewables. We should use wind power. We should use hydropower. So what's actually happening on the ground? If you see here, I have described the trend in two different colors. The first is the black one, which is indicating the uses of fossil fuel. It starts from 1850, 1900, 1950, and 2016 and 2050. What will be the trend? We are somewhere here where the fossil fuel usage is at the peak. Okay, so you can see that we are constantly having higher and higher demand for the fossil fuel based energy. Okay, maybe it is coal or petroleum. Initially, majority of our means, if you concentrate on this portion, initially we were having a we were majorly dependent on renewables, woods and other things. Okay, we are running out of time, so I will cover this slide quickly. After that, what happened? We are having industrial revolution. We were invented the machines from 1900 onwards. We started depending on the coal-based power plant. Okay, and after 1950, there is a sudden surge in industrial revolution, which resulted in very high energy consumption. Now it's a time where we are more conscious about environment. So our coal-based energy demand is going down. On the other side, we are depending more on the renewables, right? So this portion, which is important for all of us, this one, okay? More and more economies and more countries are being conscious about using the renewables, okay? So this is a global trend, okay? So fossil fuel consumption is slowly going down, but at this point, if you consider this point, near 2020, we are still at the peak and majorly we depend on the fossil fuels. So, all right, guys, everyone is requested to write down their enrollment number in the chat box. It will be open for 5 minutes. Okay. After that, I will close the session, and tomorrow we will learn about power plant layout and some different site selection options that we must know, we must understand. I hope you have enjoyed this session. Okay, these videos will be available to you on YouTube. So at the later stage, if you want to revisit what we have discussed, you can easily do that. Okay, and if you have any doubts, please ask. Thanks. I hope you all have entered your enrollment number. So I am closing the meeting now. Thanks. Thanks, Pushparaj. Thanks for the comment. Wonderful session, sir.